is the sequel to Zombieland that came out in 2009. This is coming out 10 years after the original Zombieland. It's like when the Boondock Saints 2 came out in 2009 and the first one came out in 1999. Man, everybody wanted a sequel to that movie, and it took them 10 years to make it. Now everybody wants a Boondock Saints 3. The joke was that it would take another 10 years to make. It hasn't come out yet. It's 2019. It hasn't come out yet. There wasn't a joke with that with Zombieland. Everybody thought Zombieland 2 was going to come out in like 2011, 2012, 2013 at the latest. No, this is 10 years later now. The characters Tallahassee, Columbus, Little Rock, Wichita, they've all created this makeshift family, but then when Little Rock goes off by herself, Wichita enlists Columbus and Tallahassee to go and get her back, and now we have a movie full of zombies. Like I said, this is a sequel fans have been asking for. Like, this and The Incredibles 2 are probably the two most asked for sequels that we finally got. And the first Zombieland is just so good. It felt so fresh and unique, and it was still funny at the time of its release, and it's still funny today. I actually went to a double feature of both Zombieland and Zombieland Double Tap, and they showed the first one at 5 o'clock, and it was awesome. Still as funny as I remember it being. Zombieland Double Tap had me skeptical, because I was like, this isn't going to be as good as the first one. This could go one of two ways. This could be something really bad, or it could just be something alright, but it's disappointing. It was never going to reach the heights of the first one, and I can say it doesn't reach the heights of the first one, and I walked out slightly disappointed, honestly. This movie is a mixed bag for me. There's a few things in here that work, mostly Woody Harrelson. These movies, both of them, would not work without Woody Harrelson. Tallahassee is one of the coolest characters in a zombie film ever. Tallahassee is just that crazy badass. He's the one you want by your side. Tallahassee walked so that John Wick could run. He's the one you want by your side, and Woody Harrelson's just got all the charisma and the chemistry to play Tallahassee. Everybody else does really good in their roles too. Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Abigail Breslin, who is insanely grown up now. They're all really good. They all give about the same level of performances as they did in the first one, as much as I hate Jesse Eisenberg. And you definitely know that there's chemistry between these four. We've seen it a lot throughout the first Zombieland movie, that these four actually had a lot of chemistry. That carries right over into this film. And the fact that they're more of like a makeshift family now, that they actually care more about each other now, makes the chemistry even more heartfelt in this movie, so that when they're going off on their adventure later in the movie, all the emotions are high for every single one of these characters. There's also some new characters added to the movie. One of them was Rosario Dawson's character, and I actually really liked her. She actually added something to the movie. She had great chemistry with Woody Harrelson. She had great chemistry with the main four as well, and she shows up. She's also a badass. So, I mean, we have not one but two badasses on screen. That's great. I really dug her in this movie. This movie is funny too, and it doesn't hold back. This movie has jokes that were made for 2009, like Zoe Deutsch, I think that's how you say her name. She plays a stereotypical dumb blonde, but that's the thing. It works within this universe because that could work in 2009. Jokes like that wouldn't work if this was like a realistic take, or if this took place in like 2019, which technically it does because it takes place 10 years after the first one. But there's no societal structure in these movies. There's nobody there telling them they can't say this stuff, or they can't have these stereotypes in there. So I like how it just feels like progression of the humor from the first to the second one feels natural. The rest of the movie, though, I wasn't really on board with. When it comes to new characters in this movie, aside from Rosario Dawson, and to a degree Zoe Deutsch's character, none of them are really all that memorable, and most of them are annoying. Zoe Deutsch is annoying, I feel like, in a good way, because most of it's kind of funny, and I think that that's kind of the inside joke there. But at the same time, whenever she's on screen, it's just kind of like, oh my god, get this chick off screen, she's annoying. Everybody else in the movie, I did not like. Avin Jogia's character, I think that's how you say his name in real life, he was dumb. This whole community of new characters, Luke Wilson's character, Thomas Middleditch's character, this is what sequels run into. They just start to add all these characters, and then there's too many characters in a sequel. The sequel tries to make you like every single character, and then some of them come across as either unlikable or annoying or just flat dumb, and I feel like that's what a lot of the characters in this movie did, except for Rosario Dawson's character, and to a degree, Zoe Deutch. This movie plays upon sequelitis too. It's got all the sequel cliches of a movie like this. It's like, oh, well, there was like some romantic tension between Wichita and Columbus at the end of the first one. Now they're a full-fledged couple. They're dealing with some relationship issues and all that. Little Rock is dealing with some daddy issues with Tallahassee. It's typical stuff like that, and that kind of bogs the movie down, unfortunately, because we've seen it all before. It's stuff that just gets in the way of the actual journey of the characters and where they start and end up. Everything in the middle just kind of feels like it's filler. And that's honestly what all that relationship drama is, because there's a good chunk of this movie where it feels like nothing's happening. There's also a good chunk of this movie where it just feels like, okay, they're going to this place, and then something's going to happen, and then, alright, so now we gotta go to this place, and then something happens, and then, alright, now we gotta go to this place, and then something happens. That's what it all feels like. It just kind of feels like filler, and the relationship drama just adds on to all that, and the daddy issues adds on to all that. Nothing really meshed well in the middle chunk of the movie. The first act and the third act, I think, were really the strongest points of the movie. As a whole, a glaring issue with this movie is its insane similarity to the first one. Remember when The Hangover came out and it was a hit, and then The Hangover 2 came out and it was the exact same movie, beat for beat? I wouldn't say this is the exact same movie as the first one, beat for beat, but it definitely shares a lot of similarities. There's too many things in here that happen where I'm just like, this is exactly like the first one. It's the same structure, same scenario. There's a couple of homages to the original Zombieland, which I get, you kind of have to build off what you set up in Zombieland and expand the world and all that, but I think there was just a bit too much of it, and that got really distracting. Sequels that just end up being the same thing as the original distract me. It worked with 22 Jump Street, because 22 Jump Street was at least aware that they were doing the same thing over again. It was kind of like a disbelief moment, where it's like, really? We gotta do this again? It's like, yep, that's just how it works. It's the same thing, but you gotta do it again. So that, when movies actually acknowledge it, I'm cool with it. The Hangover 2 didn't really acknowledge it. This movie doesn't really acknowledge it. And it's distracting, because it just makes me think about how great the first one was and how this one pretty much pales in comparison to the first one. There are definitely some fun sequences in this movie, but again, like, most of it's because it's the same thing as the first one. The entire end sequence is basically like the first one, just not as cool. This is a movie where I think its replay value is slightly low. I think its entertainment value will be high for a lot of people, but like, if I had seen this as a standalone movie today, instead of doing the double feature with the first one first and then this one, I think I would have warmed up to this one a little bit more. But because I had seen the first one right before this one, this just kind of felt like a sequel that wasn't necessary. It felt inconsequential, if you know what I mean. I'm going to give Zombieland Double Tap a C+. Disappointing to say the least, but I'm curious to know what you guys thought of Zombieland Double Tap. Drop me some feedback in the comment sections below as to what you thought of Zombieland Double Tap and which one you prefer, Zombieland or Zombieland 2. I will leave my link to my website in the description below. There you can find all my links to my social media accounts. Stay tuned for more reviews in my Halloween Spooktacular. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.